The first 24 chapters of Exodus recount the life of Moses, then the plagues, Passover, and the Exodus, and the covenant-making ceremony once Israel gets to Sinai. The opening several chapters, focus on the life of Moses. Of course, you set the scene with Pharaoh, a new Pharaoh who doesn't remember Joseph, a Pharaoh who's persecuting and trying to stamp out Israel, and then the birth of Moses. In the midst of that, Moses, of course, is rescued, he's saved, he's put in his ark. The word for basket there is the same word that's used for the ark of Noah. Moses is like a new Noah who's going to bring a new world into being, just as Noah did. He's like a new Adam character. But he's put in the water and he's rescued out of the water. When he is grown, of course, he sees an Egyptian beating an Israelite slave, and he intervenes to rescue the oppressed. That's how Stephen describes it in Acts chapter 7. Moses is not committing murder. Moses is standing up to defend his fellow countrymen against the Egyptian slave master who's trying to beat him. He responds with lethal force. And then he leaves and goes into the land of Midian. He meets shepherds and meets Jethro's daughter Zipporah at a well, and then settles in Midian until the Lord appears to him at the Mount of God in the burning bush and sends him back to Egypt. Those are the first several chapters of the book of Exodus, and at each moment of Moses' life there, he's foreshadowing something that's going to happen to Israel. Moses is rescued from the water. Israel will be rescued from the water. They'll pass through the water of the Red Sea, and they'll be rescued from Egypt through the sea. Moses is the first one to do that. He's the forerunner, as it were, of the Exodus. When Moses gets to Midian, he provides water. He fights off the evil shepherds at the well, and he provides water for Zipporah and her sisters. So he's not only somebody who's drawn from the water, but he's somebody who provides water. Of course, that also is a preview of what's going to happen after the Exodus. After Israel passes through the water, they go into the wilderness, and they don't have water. And so the Lord tells Moses to hit the rock, and the rock springs out with water. Moses is not only one drawn from water, but he also is one who draws water for others, and that's previewed at the beginning of the book. And then, of course, when he meets the Lord at the burning bush, he's on the mount of the Lord, he's on Horeb, which is the very place where he's going to meet with the Lord. He's going to ascend on the mountain, he's going to go up into the cloud. Later on in the book of Exodus, he's going to receive the law, the tablets of the law. That's going to happen on the same mountain. The Lord's going to appear in the glory, in the cloud of his glory. Once Israel comes to Sinai, the Lord is appearing in a small cloud of glory, a fiery burning bush on Horeb early in the book. So the logic of the way that the book of Exodus works is that you have a head, Moses, a covenant head, who is experiencing everything that's going to happen to the Israelites later on. What happens to the head also happens to the body. It's the same logic, of course, that we have in the gospel story. Particularly if you look at Luke and Acts together, you can set them side by side, and you can see that things that are happening to Jesus as the head, trials that Jesus is having, sermons that he preaches, his death, resurrection, and ascension, all of those are previews of what's going to happen in the book of Acts to the various disciples. But that principle of what happens to the head is going to happen to the body is established here in the book of Exodus. That's one of the important theological underpinnings of the story of Exodus.